Let me ask you about share buybacks. This is something I've also heard you talk about recently, where you said share buybacks is market manipulation. I mean, share buybacks in a lot of ways, if you're just thinking of it as a partnership. And I know that, legally you've looked through all of these things. You're a professor on these issues. But if you want to buy out your partners, your partner wants out, you buy back the shares. I mean, that doesn't sound to me like market manipulation. It just sounds like the way businesses work.
No, if you want to buy your partner shares and you want to hold your partner shares, that's fine. But that's not what share buybacks are.
That's what a company is doing, buying back.
No,
well,
share buybacks are going into the market and pumping up the price of your shares by sucking back in, by using your own cash, not to invest in business. Look, I'm not the one who started on the idea that this was market manipulation. This was the view of the SEC back in the 1980s. And that was, there is no reason for a company to move into the market and buy anonymously thousands of its own shares for any reason other than to raise the price of its shares. And why do they want to raise the price of their shares? Because executive compensation is tagged to that price, or because they have set
I understand the executive compensation, and I understand executive compensation shouldn't be tied to it. I can understand executive compensation not being tied to earnings per share, because that you could maneuver over a short period of time. But it seems to me that there are times when a company should. Well, it seems to me that there's a very good time for companies to buy back shares when they think the market's undervaluing those shares, and they're better off bringing in and making sure that all the shareholders have a bigger part of the company, and maybe shrinking the number of partners they have out there.
That's what dividends are for. If you think that you have excess cash and don't have a business opportunity, put it out there in dividends. But the purpose of going into the market anonymously, buying up those shares, is to do nothing but inflate your own share price. It just doesn't have another purpose.
So just balance sheet management. A company is growing, so it issues a lot of new shares. That would be considered, in your logic, as manipulation for the stock to go down. And it's really not. They're just trying to make, okay, let's say they've issued too many in the... But if they've issued too many if they issued too many in the past, and now they're looking at their shares outstanding and they think, wow, interest rates are zero, but I don't want to buy it. I'm thinking about Buffett. I don't want to buy any of these companies because they're overvalued right now. I think my company is the cheapest thing there. I want to bring in some of those shares that I issued previously. And even if it does help the stock rise, why is that so bad for shareholders? For pension plans that own the stock, for state retirement plans that own the stock. You reduce the float, earnings per share goes up, the stocks go up, everybody's doing better, income inequality narrows. We're all winning, Senator. We're all winning. Come on. What do you mean, come on?
Come on. This is nothing but paper manipulation. Everybody's doing better. Listen to yourself. Nothing about the business changed. They're still turning out the same number of widgets at the same cost and selling them to the same customers. Nothing changed. But they got a little fluff and buff in their stock. And how did they do that? By taking their excess cash and saying, geez, we can't figure out anything to do with this cash. We're not going to give it back to our investors.
You're going to put the government in
the investment decision that the only investment in America that makes any sense.
Senator, you're going to put the governor in the business of managing the balance sheets for these companies that are trying to do what they think is right for their capital structure. And no one wants that. Right?
So you don't think they're at all influenced, that they're just trying to fluff up their stock prices?
No, I resemble that word. I don't like that.
Their job is to do the business. And
Senator,
if they have business investments, they should do it. If they don't, give the money back to the investors. That's what dividends are for.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.